Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. Okay. Do you have any questions? Do you have any question before we start?
No, Doctor. As a beginning, everything is clear. Later on,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay, thank you. So I left the discussion off at the beginning of Act 1, Scene 1, and I discussed Iago's view of Othello's marriage to Desdemona. And I said Iago views this marriage as an animalistic relationship with Othello as the black ram and Desdemona as the white ewe. So here he portrays them as two animals copulating in a sty. And I said this is the European view of black people. So in this case, Iago voices the prejudices of the Europeans about African people. And last time I said the Africans are viewed by Europeans as highly oversexed, highly animalistic. They lack any sense of humanity. So this is one idea. Another idea is that Iago associates Othello with the devil. Okay, he associates black people with evil. And in line 105, I think this is where I left the discussion. 105. Iago sounds, sir, you are one of those that will not serve God if the devil bid you, because we come to do you service, and you think we are ruffians. You'll have your daughter covered with a Barbary horse. You'll have your nephews neigh to you. Okay? So here he describes Othello as a horse, and his children as also horses. Your nephews neigh to you. So this is the sound that the horse makes, neighing. You'll have coursers for cousins and Janus for Germans. Okay? So this is the typical Orientalist view of black people. Okay? Then I will read something mentioned by Brabantio. It is line 165, before the end of Act 1, Scene 1. You may skip a page. I think it is almost a page. Line 165. Brabantio, O heaven, how got she out? O treason of the blood. Fathers from hence, trust not your daughter's mind by what you see them act. Is there not charms by which the property of youth and maidhood may be abused? Have you not read, Rodrigo, of some such thing? Rodrigo, yes, sir, I have indeed. Brabantio, call up my brother. Okay, so here Brabantio believes that Othello has charmed Desdemona. Again, he associates Othello with magic and with witchcraft, and this is also a European view of black people. Okay, so Othello, the black man, according to Brabantio, has bewitched Desdemona. That's why she has eloped with him. Bewitched. B-E-W-I-T-C-H-E-D, which you add B to which to derive a verb. So Othello, according to Brabantio, has bewitched Desdemona. That's why she has eloped with him, according to her father. Okay, so he doesn't believe that his white daughter, who is European, who is civilized, may fall in love with a black man. So here he blames Othello of tricking and charming her into marrying him. Okay? Now Act 1, Scene 2. Okay, Iago leaves Rodrigo alone, and he goes ahead of him to Othello's lodging. Okay, now according to the scene, Othello is taking lodging at the Sagittary. Sagittary is an inn. Okay, enter Othello, Iago, attendants with torches. Iago, you may skip the first 5 lines. Iago, Othello, then Iago. It is line 7 in my edition. Iago may, but he prated, here he is talking about Rodrigo. He refers to Rodrigo, but he prated and spoke such scurvy and provoking terms against your honor, that with the little godliness I have, I did full heart forbear him. But I pray you, sir, are you fast married? Be assured of this, that the Magnifico, and the Magnifico here is Brabantio, and we know that Brabantio is a senator. That the Magnifico is much beloved, and has in his effect a voice potential as double as the Duke's. He will divorce you, or put upon you what restraint or grievance the law, with all his might to enforce it on, will give him cable. Okay? So here at the beginning of this statement, Iago is telling Othello that Rodrigo has spoken ill of Othello, and Iago was angered by him, and he was about to smite him with the sword. So here he wants to win Othello's confidence. He wants to show confidence that he is one of his supporters. Then he says, are you fast married? And then he mentions the power of Brabantio. Brabantio is a powerful man, and he is able to divorce Othello and Desdemona. Othello says, let him do his spite my services which I have done, the signory, i.e. the dukedom here, the dukedom of Janus, shall outtank his complaints. Okay? So here we have a contrast between what Othello has done for the sake of the state and the personal complaint of Brabantio. Okay? So Othello has adopted the collective cause of the Venetian nation. Okay? So that's why the Venetian nation or the Venetian state has enlisted him as a major in its army. Okay? So the Venetian state has assimilated Othello into the social fabric of their society because he has done many services to the country. Okay? So here Othello takes it upon himself to fulfill the collective cause and goal of the nation. So his goal is collective. It is related to the nation. Brabantio's goal is personal. So he is, i.e. Brabantio is controlled by a personal complaint. And in this case, the state will put the affairs of the nation before the affairs of the individual. Okay? So the state is more important than the individual. So that's why Othello knows that the services that he has done to the state are superior to any personal complaint that Brabantio. Okay, is there a problem? Okay, so the safety of the nation is superior to the individual complaint of Brabantio. It is yet to know which one I know that boasting is an honor I shall promulgate. I touch my life and being from men of royal siege. And this is what I mentioned last time. I said Othello is a noble character simply because he comes from a royal family. So he is a noble man. And my demerits may speak unvarnished too, as proud a fortune as this that I have reached. Okay, so I am a noble person. I come from a royal family. So Desdemona is one of the good fortunes that belong to me. Okay, i.e. he deserves to marry a European lady who belongs to the upper social class. Okay, so here's a noble man, and she is a noble lady. For no Iago, but that I love the gentle Desdemona, I wouldn't my unhoused free condition put into circumscription and confine for the sea's worth. Okay? So he is saying that Desdemona is worthier than all the treasures of the universe. Okay, so he highly appreciates her. Okay, so his marriage to Desdemona is not a matter of satisfying his sexual desires. Okay, so his marriage to Desdemona is highly spiritual, highly moral. Okay, and in this case, Othello refutes Iago's view of this marriage. But look, what lights come beyond? Enter Cassio with officers and torches. Iago, those are the raised father and his friends. You will best go in. Othello, not I must be found. My parts, my title, my perfect soul shall manifest me rightly. Is it they? By Janus, I think no. Okay? So Iago tells Othello that these are Brabantio and his band, and they had come to arrest Othello, but it turns out that this is not true. It is Cassio who comes to summon Othello to the Duke. Okay, so the Duke sends Cassio to Othello to tell him to join the meeting that the Duke is holding with the senators of the state. So they are going to discuss the war with the Ottomans. Iago says by Janus. He swears by Janus. He says by Janus, I think no. Janus, I want to comment on the significance of Janus here. Janus is a Roman god with two faces. Janus is a Roman god with two faces. Now here Iago swears by Janus. Okay, so his oath reflects his real nature. He himself is a Janus with two faces. He himself is a Janus with two faces. Okay? So his outer appearance, his physical appearance, shows him as a good man. But deep down, he is evil. So that's why he swears by Janus. Yes? Yes, go on. Do you have a question?
No, doctor.
Okay, stay now. I am waiting until you say yes or no.
No questions.
Okay, you may skip a page. It is line 60 in my edition. Brabantio arrives at the inn and he addresses Othello saying, it is Act 1, Scene 2, line 60. Brabantio, O thou foul thief, where hast thou stowed my daughter? Damned as thou art, thou hast enchanted her. For I refer me to all things of sense. If she in chains of magic were not bound, whether a maid so tender, fair and happy, so opposite to marriage, that she shunned the wealthy curled darlings of our nation, would ever have to incur a general mock, run from her guarded to the sooty bosom of such a thing as thou, to fear, not to delight. judge me the world if the used her delicate youth with drugs and minerals that weaken motion, and have it disputed on, is probable and palpable to thinking. I therefore apprehend and do attach thee for an abuser of the world, a practicer of arts inhibited and out of warrant. Okay? Here Brabantio is describing Desdemona as a chaste girl who has refused the darlings of Italy or of Venice, i.e. the youth of Italy. And he is accusing Othello of having practiced magic on her. And at the end of his statement, he says, I therefore apprehend, i.e. I arrest you. This is the meaning of apprehend here. It doesn't mean understanding, as I told you when I discussed the implications of tragedy. I therefore apprehend and do attach thee for an abuser of the world, a practicer of arts inhibited and out of warrant. So here he associates Iago with primitive peoples. Okay, so Iago is one of the primitive people who practices magic, witchcraft, in other words, all sorts of inhibited arts. Okay, so these are the types of art that are inhibited by civilized people. And at the end of the scene, Brabantio says, Act 1, Scene 2, Brabantio says, have the Duke in council in this time of the night, bring him away, mine's not an idle cause. I bring Othello away. He wants his man to arrest Othello. Mine is not, i.e. my cause is not an idle cause, i.e. it is important. The Duke himself, or any of my brothers of the state, cannot but feel this wrong as 'twere their own. For if such actions may have passage free, bond slaves and pagans shall our statesmen be. So here Brabantio considers Othello's behavior as a threat to the state. Brabantio considers Othello's behavior as a threat to the state. So here Brabantio considers his own personal problem as a collective problem. Okay? So he has a certain problem with Othello. He feels that Othello has kidnapped his daughter, but this action of behavior threatens the safety and the security of the whole nation. So according to him, Othello has to be punished. And if he is not punished, all other pagans and slaves will threaten the peace of the nation. So in this case, other pagans and other slaves will marry other Italian women, and in this case, Venice will be controlled, will be ruled by pagans and slaves, i.e. by primitive people. Okay, so according to him, Othello's behavior will transform Venice from a civilized nation into a primitive nation. And if this happens, Venice will be ruled by slaves and pagans. Okay? So Brabantio still associates Iago with paganism simply because he is black. Okay? So black people are considered by Orientalists as pagans, as slaves, as primitive people, and Brabantio upholds the same view. So for him, Othello represents in the play all black people is a pagan and a slave. Okay, so there is nothing in common between white and black people according to Brabantio. Okay, so if the black people are allowed to marry white women, the state will be controlled by pagans and slaves. Okay, so this is also a highly Orientalist view. Okay, so Othello and Brabantio go to the Duke, and Brabantio asks the Duke to arrest and punish Othello because he has bewitched his daughter. Okay, now Othello tells the Duke and the senators how Desdemona has fallen in love with him. Othello says, it is line, let's say, 128. Okay, so Othello tells them that the girl has fallen in love with him as a result of listening to his life story told by him to her father. Okay, so Othello was a friend of Brabantio. He used to meet him. Brabantio used to ask him questions about his life. Othello told him about the adventures that he had gone through. He told him about the troubles and the obstacles that he had gone through. Desdemona, as a result, had fallen in love with Othello. So that's why I said yesterday Desdemona loves the man in Othello. She doesn't care about his physical appearance. And I said last time, Othello emerges as her charming prince. Okay, so here Othello says, send for Desdemona and she will bear witness to what I am going to tell you. And in the meantime, Othello tells the Duke and the senators how Desdemona has fallen in love with him. I will read this long passage and I will analyze it. It is line 128. Othello, her father loved me, oft invited me, still questioned me the story of my life from year to year. The battle, sieges, fortune that I have passed, I ran it through, even from my boyish days to the very moment that he bade me tell it. When I spoke of most disastrous chances, of moving accidents by flood and field, of hairbreadth escapes in the imminent deadly breach, of being taken by the insolent foe and sold to slavery, of my redemption dance and portents in my travels history, wherein of antlers vast and deserts idle, rough quarries, rocks, and hills, whose heads touch heaven, it was my hint to speak. Such was my process. And of the cannibals that each other eat, the anthropophagi, and none whose heads grow beneath their shoulders. These things to hear would Desdemona seriously incline, but still the house affairs would draw her thence, whichever as she could with haste dispatch, she'd come again, and with a greedy ear devour up my discourse, which I, observing, took once a pliant hour, and found good means to draw from her a prayer of earnest heart, that I would all my pilgrimage dilate, whereof by parcels she had something heard, but not intentedly. I did consent, and often did beguile her of her tears, when I did speak of some distressful stroke that my youth suffered. My story being done, she gave me for my pains a world of sighs. So he discussed his life story. Desdemona sympathized with his pains. She swore in faith, 'twas strange, 'twas passing strange, 'twas pitiful, 'twas wondrous pitiful. She wished she had not heard it, yet she wished that heaven had made her such a man. So here Othello is described as a hero in a romance. Okay, so he has gone through many troubles, but he has also gone beyond these troubles. He has emerged safe from all the troubles that he has faced throughout his life. So here she sees him as a knight in a romance. So that's why she falls in love with him. So she is a highly romantic woman who falls in love with a romantic hero. And by romantic here, I mean romance. Okay. So she has fallen in love with a knight in a romance. She wished she had not heard it, yet she wished that heaven had made her such a man. She thanked me and bade me, if I had a friend that loved her, I should but teach him how to tell my story, and that would woo her. Upon this hint I spake. Okay? So she gives him the hint that she has fallen in love with him. As a result, she loved me for the dangers I had passed, and I loved her that she did pity them. This only is the witchcraft I have used. Here comes the lady, let her witness it. Okay, so That's why yesterday I said Iago is the animus for Desdemona. Okay? So he is her own soul image. He is the man that she aspires to be married to. And emerges safe and sound. Okay? So she has sympathized with his sufferings. And he has loved her because she has sympathized with him. Okay? So she represents the lady that he loves. So she is his anima. Desdemona is Othello's anima, and Othello is Desdemona's animus. Okay? Okay, you may skip some 2 pages. Okay? Act 1, Scene 3. Desdemona, line 242. Okay? So now Othello prepares to go to Cyprus. Desdemona cannot go with him because the Duke has not arranged for her travel with her husband. Now the Duke says she may stay at her father's home. Brabantio refuses, Othello refuses, so Desdemona says she would like to join her husband in Cyprus. So the Duke says, what would you, Desdemona? She says that I did love the more to live with him. By downright violence and storm of fortunes, my trumpet to the world. My heart subdued even to the very quality of my Lord. I saw Othello's visage in his mind, and to his honors and his valiant parts did I my soul and fortunes consecrate, so that, dear lords, if I be left behind a moth of peace, and he go to the war, the rights for why I love him are bereft me, and I a heavy interim shall support by his dear absence. Let me go with him. Okay? So Desdemona says, my heart subdued even to the very quality of my Lord. I saw Othello's visage in his mind. Okay? So she has fallen in love with his deeds, with his own ideas, with his mind. Okay? So his external appearance is not a matter for her. What matters for her is his internal life. Okay? I saw Othello a courageous part. Did I my soul and fortunes consecrate? So she has consecrated her soul and his fortunes to the honors and to the courage of Othello. Okay, so she has dedicated her life, her honor, to the honor and the courage of her husband Othello. So this is the marriage of true minds. Okay, so their marriage is considered the marriage of true minds. This is not the marriage of two different bodies, i.e. a white and a black body. Okay? Their marriage is the marriage of true minds. So that, dear Lord, if I be left behind a moth of peace, and he go to the war, the rites, i.e. the rituals, for why I love him, are bereft me, and I a heavy interim shall support by his dear absence. Okay, so a moth of peace. Okay, so if she is left behind Othello, living in peace, she will not be able to witness the battles that he will wage against the enemy. Okay, these are the rights for which she has loved him. Okay, so she has loved the warrior, and she wants to witness his soldiership on the battlefield. Okay, she has married the warrior, and she wants to witness his soldiership on the battlefield. His soldiership, i.e. his art of fighting. Okay, so here Desdemona emerges as the good lady in the romance. Okay, so she is the good lady that supports her knight. Okay, so she supports him morally. And this reminds me of Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock. Alexander Pope. Pope, P-O-P. Alexander Pope is an 18th century poet. He wrote The Rape of the Lock. And in this poem he makes fun of the follies of the aristocracy. And he alludes, or he parodies, great works of art to make fun of the follies of the aristocracy. Okay? So parody means that you imitate, let's say, a great work of art to deal with a silly subject. This is the meaning of parody. You imitate a great work of art to make fun of a silly situation. For example, in The Rape of the Lock, there are two figures. There is a man and a woman. The woman is called Belinda. Belinda is very beautiful, very nice. And there is a man who wants maybe to seduce her. She resists him. At a certain party, he cuts off one of the locks of her hair. This man is assisted by an evil woman. Okay, so the woman gives him a pair of scissors. He goes to Belinda and cuts off a lock of her hair. Here the poet comments on this silly act, saying, so ladies in romance assist their knights. Okay, so this is the first line. So ladies in romance assist their knight. The second line is present the spear and arm him for the fight. So in a typical romance, the good woman supports her knight. Now, in The Rape of the Lock, which is a book, heroic epic, the lady assists a man to do evil. Okay? So that's why we consider it a parody. I will go back to romance and its significance. So in a romance, the good lady helps her knight achieve his goal, and Desdemona emerges as that good lady. So she wants to go with her husband to Cyprus to witness his valor and his courage, to witness his soldiership on the battlefield, and in this case, she supports him morally. Okay, so for Othello, she is a source of moral support. So that's why she wants to go with him. Okay, so she is different than Iago. Okay, so the two ladies go with Othello to Cyprus. Iago, the evil woman, Desdemona, the good woman. Okay? Othello says, let her have your voice, vouch with me, heaven. I therefore beg it not, to please the palate of my appetite, nor to comply with heat the young affects in my defunct and proper satisfaction, but to be free and bounteous to her mind. Okay, so Othello wants Desdemona to go with him to Cyprus, not because he wants to satisfy his sexual needs. He wants her to accompany him so that she will satisfy her mental needs. Okay, so he wants to satisfy Desdemona's mental needs, i.e., her moral needs. And heaven defend your good souls, that you think I will your serious and great business scant when she is with me. No, when light-winged toys of feathered Cupid seal with wanton dullness my speculative and office instrument, that my disports corrupt and taint my business, let housewives make a skillet of my helm, and all in thine and base adversities make head against my estimation. So here Othello is saying that he doesn't want to take Desdemona with him so that he will satisfy his needs. Okay, so according to him, his love for Desdemona will not prevent him from doing his duties towards the state. Okay? So he is not a man whose love will prevent him from from fulfilling his duties towards the state. So in this case, Othello's collective goal comes before his personal goal. Okay, so that's why I said Othello is controlled by a collective goal. Iago is controlled by a personal goal. Okay, Othello takes it upon himself to defend the nation. Iago takes it upon himself to revenge himself on Othello so that he will be the lieutenant of the new major, the new general of the army. Okay, I will skip a few pages. 2 pages. Act 1, Scene 3. Okay, Iago, it is line 315. Iago virtue. Okay, before this statement, Rodrigo says, what should I do? I confess it is my shame to be so fond, but it is not in my virtue to amend it. Here he means it is not in my power to amend this sense of shame that I have. Now, Iago takes the word virtue as a word that means, let's say, immoral value. Okay, so for him here, virtue doesn't mean power, it is immoral value. So he says, virtue, a fig. It is in ourselves that we are thus or thus. Our bodies are our gardens, to the which our wills are gardeners, so that if I will plant nettles or sow lettuce, set hyssop and weed up thyme, supply it with one gender of herbs, or distract it with many, either to have it sterile with idleness or manured with industry. Why? The power and corrigible authority of this lies in our wills. If the balance of our lives had not one scale of reason to please another of sensuality, the blood and baseness of our natures would conduct us to most preposterous conclusions. But we have reason to cool our raging motions, our carnal stings or unbitted lusts, whereof I take this that you call love to be a sect or science. Okay, so he says, it is in ourselves that we are thus or thus. So here this statement of Iago's highlights the belief that man is a free-willed creature, i.e. man has free will. Man is not a predestined creature according to Iago. So it is up to man, according to Iago, to shape his own identity and character. So man may decide to be good, and he may our bodies as our gardens. So according to him, the human body is like a garden, and human will is the gardener. Okay, so the gardener plants whatever he wants in his garden, and man's will leads him to be whatever he wants to be. Okay, so at the surface of this statement, Iago seems to be upholding a Christian concept. Yes, man is free, he has free will, but he uses the idea of free will for evil ends. Okay, so Iago's belief in the free will of man doesn't necessarily mean that the free will of man leads him to act according to the preachings of Christianity. So Iago has nothing to do with Christianity. Iago's free will leads him to do evil, to inflict pain on other people. And here he also draws a balance between the reason and the heart, i.e. between the mind and the heart, between reason and emotions. He says, if the balance of our lives had not one scale of reason to poise another of sensuality, the blood and baseness of our natures would conduct us to most preposterous conclusions. So according to him, human reason should control man's emotions and passions. So that's why he uses the metaphor of the balance that has two scales. A scale that represents reason and another scale that represents sensuality. And sensuality here means emotions, passions, physical needs. So according to Iago, human passions, human heart should be controlled by the mind. And if the human mind does not control the heart, man will be reduced to the lowest levels of human existence. Man's life will be reduced to the lowest levels of human existence. But we have reason to cool our raging motions, our carnal instincts, or unbidden lusts, whereof I take this that you call love to be a sect or sign. Okay, so the mind is responsible for controlling the senses, and he considers love as part of the senses. Love, according to Iago, is related to sensuality. It is related to lust. And lust and sensuality are related to the heart, and these are related also to the physical needs of man. Okay? So here Iago believes in the mind, but the problem with Iago is that he enlists the mind in the service of evil. Okay, so he uses his mind to cause evil to other people. Okay, so in this case, his mind is enlisted in the service of his senses. Okay, so the senses are not enlisted in the service of the mind in his case. Rodrigo says, it cannot be, i.e. love cannot be a sign of lust, i.e. a part of lust. Iago says it is merely a lust of the blood and a permission of the will. Come, be a man, drown thyself, drown cats and blind puppies. I have professed thee, me, my friend, and I confess me knit to thy deserving with cables of perdurable toughness. I could never better stud thee than now. Put money in thy purse, follow thou the wars, defeat thy favor with an usurped beard. I say, put money in thy purse. It cannot be long that Desdemona should continue her love to the Moor. Put money in thy purse. So this means that Iago is making money as a result of befriending Rodrigo. So he takes money from him, promising that Desdemona will at the end be Rodrigo's wife. Okay, so he tells him that Desdemona will leave Iago will leave Othello after she has satisfied his sexual needs. So later on, she will get fed up with his ugly face, with his black body, so she will leave him and look for a younger person. Put money in thy purse, nor he his to her. It was a violent commencement in her, and thou shalt put but money in thy purse. These moors are changeable in their wills. Fill thy purse with money. The food that to him now is as luscious as locusts shall be to him shortly as bitter as Wintida. She must change for youth. When she is sated with his body, she will find the errors of her choice. And I imagine this. After she has satisfied her sexual needs, she will look for a younger man. Therefore, put money in thy purse. If thou wilt needs damn thyself, do it a more delicate way than drowning. I will skip the rest. Then at the end of this scene, Iago is left alone on the stage. And here Iago tells us that he's going to plot against Cassio. Okay? So he's going to pit Othello against his officer Cassio, to pit him against. Pit, P-I-T. Him against. So this is an idiom to pit him against. So it means that you put someone against someone else. Okay? So i.e. you instigate someone to fight, let's say, another one. This is the meaning of pit him against Cassio. So at the end of this scene, which is scene 3 of Act 1, Iago says, "Thus do I ever make my fool my purse." Okay, so he is referring to Rodrigo here. "For I mine own gained knowledge should profane, if I would time expand with such a smite, but for my sport and profit." Okay, so according to him, Rodrigo is a fool, and he spends time with him for his own profit. He wants to make money out of befriending Rodrigo. "I hate the Moor, and it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he has done my office." Okay, now he is creating a cause for his hatred. He is inventing a reason for hating Othello. Okay, so there is no reason to hate the man, except the fact that he has not chosen Iago as his lieutenant. Now Iago wants to have a strong ground on which he can base his hatred of Othello. So he's going to say that Othello is betraying him with Emilia. Emilia is Iago's wife. Okay, so Iago tries to convince himself that Othello is having sex with Iago's wife. So that's why he wants to revenge or to avenge himself on him. "I hate the Moor, and it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets has done my office. I know not if it be true, but I, for mere suspicion in that kind, will do as if for surety." Okay, so this is what I referred to yesterday. I referred to the concept of motiveless malignity. Motiveless malignity. Okay, i.e. malignity that has no real motive, no real cause. So here, Iago is looking for a cause to justify his hatred of Othello. And the term was used by Coleridge himself. Okay? Samuel Taylor Coleridge, whom you have studied, or you may have studied in romantic poetry, came up with this term in one of the articles that he wrote. So he wrote an essay on Iago, and he says that Iago is controlled by motiveless malignity. He holds me well. He, i.e. Othello, holds me well. The better shall my purpose work on him. Okay, so because he trusts me, he will believe me. This is what he's saying. Cassius, a proper man. Okay, Cassius, a proper man, i.e. handsome, nice. Let me see now. To get his place, i.e. to get the place of Cassio, and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? Let's see. After some time to abuse Othello's ears, that he is too familiar with his wife. He hath a person, and a smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make woman false. Okay, so here he is referring to Cassio. Cassio is a handsome man, he's young, and he can seduce any woman. So any woman can fall in love with him. So he's going to tell Othello that Desdemona is betraying her husband with Cassio. The Moor is of a free and open nature. He thinks men honest, that but seem to be so. Okay? So this highlights the noble nature of Othello. Okay? Even Iago, Othello's enemy, admits that Othello is a noble person. He has a free and open nature and thinks men honest that but seem to be so. Okay? So here, Othello upholds the Renaissance view that maintains that the body reflects the inner self. Okay? So in this case, Othello is a supporter of the Renaissance passing optimistic view of man. Okay? So man is indeed what he seems to be. Okay? So Iago seems to be good. He seems to be loyal to Othello. That's why Othello will believe him. Othello doesn't know that. Iago hides behind this mask of loyalty and goodness and evil nature. The moon is of a free and open nature that thinks men honest, that but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. Okay, and I said this is his tragic flaw. Okay, so he believes, he upholds the Renaissance optimistic view of man, the idea that man is an integral human being whose body reflects his inner self. Okay, Othello doesn't, or is not familiar, maybe he is not familiar with the pessimistic view of man that maintains that deep down man is evil. Okay, so that's why I said yesterday his tragic flaw is that he doesn't understand the true nature of man. Okay, so Iago represents the pessimistic view of man. Othello represents the optimistic view of man. And because Othello upholds the optimistic view of man, he thinks that Iago is honest and loyal to him. I have it. Hell and might must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light. So again, this is a soliloquy. So in this soliloquy, Iago unfolds his real nature. He expresses his real ideas and thoughts. Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear, doctor.
Yes, doctor, yes.
Okay. Act 2, Scene 1. Act 2, Scene 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. You may skip the first 4 pages. Okay? So now we know that Othello goes ahead of Desdemona to Cyprus. So Desdemona is left at the Registry. Iago goes ahead of her to Cyprus. She goes after him to Cyprus. Iago is there. Okay? So Iago, I think, accompanies her to Cyprus. Okay. Here Iago is discussing his view of women. It is line 144 in my edition. Iago, she that was ever fair and never proud, had tongue at will and yet was never loud, never lacked gold and yet was never gay, fled from her wish and yet said, now I may. She that being angered, her revenge being nigh, bade her wrong stay and her displeasure fly. She that in wisdom Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. I lost connection with you as a result of the electricity.
Okay, not
No
a
problem.
The electricity went off. Okay. She that being angered, her revenge being nigh, bade her wrong stay and her displeasure fly. She that in wisdom never was so frail, to change the cod's head for the famine's tale. She that could think and never disclose her mind, see suitors following and not look behind. She was a wight, if ever such wights were. Desdemona, to do what? to suckle fools and chronicle small beer. So here according to, or here Iago classifies women. Iago sees women in categories. He doesn't see them as human beings. He divides them into fair women, wise women, black women, witty women, foolish women. I will discuss this in detail next time because I will comment on Iago's language and how it deconstructs, i.e. how it reflects his own thinking. I have to dismiss the class because I have another class at 10:20. Do you have any questions?
No, doctor. Thanks for such a deep
No,
discussion.
doctor. Thank you so much. No, doctor.
Okay, thank you for attending.